Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to the Dice Tower live Q&A. It is September 19th, 2017. Now I know that the lighting here is not the greatest. It's last time I did this there was sunlight coming in the window, so I'm gonna have to bring a light here to my house to make these live Q&As a little better when I do them at night. But hopefully everything is fine. Someone also sent me a script where I could hopefully read the comments better and not get lost in the comments as they're being asked. So this is a Q&A. Of course, you can ask me questions. I won't answer everything, but I'll try to answer a lot of the questions and be, I don't know, interesting, I guess, considering how nice it is right here. We're certainly glad that the hurricane isn't hitting us. So let's go through some of these questions here. What was your biggest surprise and worst disappointment at GenCon? My biggest surprise was then hearing about Fireball Island being published. My biggest disappointment was in parts of my show. Let's see, any update on the cruise? Well, realize that we are 2 weeks behind on everything here. It's really unfortunate the cruise just wiped everything out. That includes Jason, but he'll be back on the clock with the cruise. In fact, he and I were talking about that, and we may do a live Q&A next week with me and Jason about the cruise. Everyone's electricity is on, however, we do not have good internet at the studio yet. But everyone's electricity is back. What do I suggest packing for the cruise, says Michael. Thinking about a hard suitcase. Well, no, you should, yeah, hard suitcases are great. I use them to transport my games all the time when I travel, and they work really well in that regard. When will I play Pandemic Legacy Season 2? Well, when I get it. When's the next top 100 of all-time videos coming out? That's going to be this Thursday. In fact, we are ahead now, although we're technically behind. But starting this Thursday, you should see them on a weekly basis. Ahoy! Has there been any news on Project Elite? You teased some info before. Not that I can say or know. If you could have a high-quality wood version of any game, what would it be? A high-quality wood version of a game? I don't know. Maybe Onitama? Let's see. Sam wants to do a Q&A, but he can't because of Comcast. Yeah, Comcast is out at the studio, and I'm pretty sure Sam's over there playing games, which is probably more fun than doing a Q&A anyway. Are you going to be reviewing The Art of Chill, the new Bob Ross game? We just got it today. One of our boxes from GenCon has arrived. Are you going to be at HalCon on Friday or just Saturday and Sunday? I'll be there all 3 days. How was that Fire in the Mountain hot buffalo sauce you got several months ago? It's good. I don't use buffalo sauce as much as others, so my kids use it and like it more than I do. Why did the unboxing video this morning have stuff you've already played, like Harvest and Seventh Continent? Hurricane! That's really all it was. It just everything is getting mixed together in one big swoop. So sometimes reviews go up before the unboxing does. Have you played Coal Baron? I played the card game, but not the board game. Do you watch any non-Dice Tower YouTube videos? Oh yeah, all the time. I watch all kinds of stuff. My favorite thing is Top Mojo, where they do top 10 lists. There is no damage to anyone's games. Is a review on Raxon coming up? We don't have Raxon. Have you played Crossfire yet? No, but I'm bringing it with me to HalCon, so hopefully I'll be able to play it there. How many people are asking about Pandemic Legacy Season 2? We do not have the game. We are not playing the game. It is not a secret thing that we have that no one knows about. We don't have Pandemic Legacy. Let's see. What's a really? Let's see. How far in advance do you post next year's cruise? Hopefully soon. But the problem is we need to figure out how many people we think are going to come on the cruise. We have to work everything out with the cruise line before we can announce the dates of next year's cruise. Let's see here. I can answer a whole lot of these questions here that a lot of you guys are asking. A lot of people are asking about specific games. If I've reviewed it, I have an opinion, and I did it in the review. If I haven't reviewed it, then I am going to review it soon, or I haven't played it yet. It's one of those two. So I really don't want to spend my time answering, like, what do you think about what game, because that's the whole point of me doing all the different reviews, I think. Anyway, we'll see. Let's see. What's your favorite Doctor Who episode? Well, that's a really good one. Blink is an obvious answer to that, but I don't think it is Blink. I really like the end episodes. I thought the goodbye of David Tennant, his final episode, I really liked that. I really liked the episode. I thought I would hate it, honestly. The penultimate episode of 2 seasons ago, where the Doctor was trapped inside a castle. That's not a spoiler, but it's just a thing. That had a really good, I was like really disliking it, but as the episode went by, I really enjoyed it more. Let's see. What other game of the werewolf do you recommend for someone who likes that genre, like that Secret Hitler? Oh, there's a whole ton. At some point, we'll do a top 10 on them. I was just playing One Night Ultimate Alien with my family, so that was a pretty fun game. Have you ever come across a worker placement game with an action that makes you last in the following round? I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I know there's worker placement games where you can pick who's first, which essentially you can make yourself last. Where did you get that golden deck of cards from your unboxing video? I think someone sent that to me. I'm going to have to look through my emails to see. I probably talked about it. I'd be honored to buy you a donair while you're here in Halifax. Spicy meat goodness. Sounds good, but I've never heard of it. I have not played Lisboa. All right, let's see here. What's your favorite Summoner Wars faction? Oh, I know I talked about my favorite factions. Did I ever make a top 10? I know I made my top 10 Summoners, and I think at one point I was going to make my top 10 factions. My favorite is just Jungle Elves. I really like the Jungle Elves. But I might do a top 10 on that someday. What upcoming live gaming do you have planned? None. Mostly because our Comcast internet is out at the studio, and that's what we were using for streaming. So until that gets fixed, there is no plans for live streaming. I apologize. Comcast. What games do you most enjoy teaching to new players? I really like teaching Cosmic Encounter, and I really like teaching Magical Athlete. Did I buy anything at GenCon? I bought a couple books for my kids, and I got a little bit of artwork. Flip-flops or boots? I despise both of them. If I had to pick one, I would wear boots because I really hate flip-flops. Best Doctor Who episode is Water of Mars? Nah, I don't like that one that much. Would you ever go to a con in disguise to get that just a normal gamer feeling? I think I can get that if I go to a con where a lot of people don't know me. That's fine. I try to be just a normal gamer anyway. Thoughts on GenCon for someone who's never attended a convention? Would it be a first one to go to? Considering next year just because it's close to me. Yes, although GenCon could learn a lot from some of the bigger cons, I think. Really, GenCon was great, don't get me wrong, but really every convention should have those teachers want it, players want it signs. That's a free thing. That costs you no money. You just make little signs that say players want it, teachers want it, whatever. And then people can put them on your table, and that way you know if someone's looking for a game. And a lot of people just go and they play together, and then how do you know if you can join a group or not? So, yeah, you can go, you'll have a great time, but I would go with somebody else. But really, folks, that should just be that's an easy thing that should be in every convention. I do not use Kickstarter. Some games only release on Kickstarter, such as Seventh Continent. Is there any way to buy a Kickstarter game after without paying outrageous prices? Yeah, if the game is bad. But really, you're answering your own question there because, yeah, if you want the game and it's only through Kickstarter, then you suck it up and you either use Kickstarter or you stay on your I'm not going to use Kickstarter, but then you can't get the game. It's up to you. Top 10 sock colors, multicolors. Let's see, what sock am I wearing right now? These are my bacon and egg socks. Ooh, now my feet are cold. Gotta take the other sock off. Can't do one sock off and one sock on. Coconuts or crustaceans? Oh, crustaceans by a mile. Let's see. No flip-flops even on the cruise? Nope. If I'm going to go on like a beach or something, I'll wear water shoes, like something like Crocs or something. I just don't like flip-flops at all. Let's see. What did you think of the Shut Up and Sit Down documentary of TI4? I haven't watched all of it yet. I just watched parts of it. I think it's very well made. This is just for me personally. I'm not always interested in hearing about one game for a whole hour, but I probably will get around to watching it because I do like looking at the background things or hearing some decisions on how games are made. So it's interesting for sure, and I'm sure a lot of people will really enjoy it. Favorite late night snack? It's a tie between salsa and chips and cheese and crackers. Is Terraforming Mars too deep for a family that is into lighter gaming like Castles of King Ludwig and Dominion? No, I think you could transition from those to Terraforming Mars. What clan would I add to Ethnos? I would add. See, they got that. I mean, I guess we have to go with classic generic fantasy, right? And they have those. They have those. Did they have lizardmen yet? Maybe I'd add lizardmen. Dragons. Is dragons a clan? No, because dragons is the thing that ends the game. So you couldn't use dragons as a clan. Storm giants. How's that? Want to trade hats? Probably not. Tom, my kids and I are huge fans of the show. How can we find you at HowCon? Well, actually, I guess I could talk about that now. I have a schedule for HowCon. Let's see if I can find it. I'll tell you where I'll be. So on Friday, I'll be streaming with Extra Life from 2 to 3. And I'll be doing board game demos on the gaming floor from 6 to 7:30. On Saturday, I'll be doing a panel with Rodney Smith, how to deal with problem gamers in your game group. That's from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And then on Sunday, from 10 to 12, I'm doing the Great Canadian Board Game Blitz. And at 3:15, I'm running a Wits and Wagers event. I should probably work on that. And that could change, of course. Some things could change. Other than that, look for the hat and hunt me down. And I'll try to play games with you. I got to be careful how I phrase that. I can't play games with everyone. I really would like to. But I'll at least talk to you. And so that'd be great. We're launching a Kickstarter in November. What can I do or who can I contact to get it mentioned on Crowdsurfing? You can do nothing to get mentioned on Crowdsurfing other than have an interesting Kickstarter. Crowdsurfing and also Suzanne's segment on Board Game Breakfast. I'm very adamant on both of these. We both go and look at stuff that we find interesting. It might crisscross. We might find the same thing interesting. We might find different things, but no sending me an email about it is going to make me go, oh, I'll take a look at that. No, this way I hope it's more honest, like, oh, this looks interesting, not because someone asked me to do so. Did you see the movie It, or is it not your thing? It's not my thing, really. I'm not a big fan of horror. Best Doctor Who episode for sure. Vincent the Doctor, that's a good one. Best heavy Uwe Rosenberg game for 2 players, Le Havre. What Cowboys do you hope appear in the Smash Up expansion? I don't know. I'm just glad that they're in it. You know, I should have asked, what was the Cowboy faction about? I had an opportunity to do that, and I missed out on it. Thank you to the people who I talked to at GenCon. That was very, very nice of all of you. Ethnos doesn't have goblins. Yeah, I know, but the special ability I do goblins they already gave to the halflings. Let's see. Well, I do more Jackbox Party Pack games. Maybe at some point. Again, we kind of need to get back into the whole getting streaming, and there's just a lot, folks. I don't know that I can emphasize so much. I want to put it like on a big sign. We are 2 weeks behind at this point. That is a huge thing. We lost so much time because of the hurricane. It really threw all of us for an incredibly tough loop. We want to catch up, and I'm working hard to catch up. But it really, even though the hurricane very fortunately spared us, that amount of time is just not something so easily made up. So we're going to try to do more stuff as soon as we can, but realize that all my plans and schedules were really kind of screwed up by this storm. So we will catch up by the end of the year. Unfortunately, extra stuff that I might have been planning to do is not going to happen, and we're just going to have to focus on what we were planning to normally do. I'm really sorry about that, but we're going to work hard. I'm going to try to catch up. I'm asking serious questions here, and I feel neglected. Well, sorry. I'll try to answer some more serious questions. Let's see. Tom just said, hunt him down. I'll bring the nets. Who's going to build the pit traps? I don't know. Oh, let's see. Come on, the best Doctor Who episode is any episode with Tom Baker. I know there's a lot of people who say that sort of thing, and I'm sure that for you, Tom Baker is the best Doctor Who. I've gone back and watched some of those, and I just can't get over how cheesy the special effects are. And then every time I say that, people are like, look, just put them aside and look how great the episodes were. I'm sure they were, but honestly, there's like, I don't know, what, 50, 60, 70 episodes out of the new stuff that are excellent and amazing, and I'm pretty happy watching those. What's the last country other than the U.S. you have been in? Well, Canada, I guess. I was there earlier this year. What country would you most like to... Oh, no, I was in Britain in June. What country would you most like to travel to? I think I would most like to travel to... Of countries I haven't been to? Any of the countries in Africa, really. I would love to go to Africa. How similar do you think the new Fireball Island will be to the old? They're going to change it dramatically. I know this because they told me they're going to. So, I mean, it's going to still have the fireballs rolling down, but I think a lot of the rest of it will be changed. Tom, I've been playing Alchemist a lot. Love the deduction worker placement mix. Any other games like this that you would recommend? Yeah, I'd recommend Rising 5. That's one that uses this like an app, and you're all working together. Cooperative deduction game. Guilty pleasure, you're driving down the road and are finding some fast food. All are available. What do you choose? Baconator, am I right? No, actually, I don't mind bacon on my burgers, but I don't really care. I mean, I know people like bacon, but I'd rather have tomato and lettuce on a burger any day. I need some veggies. But I don't even know if I would stop for a burger. It all depends what I'm in the mood for. If the only place open is McDonald's, which I hate, you know, I'll eat their fish sandwich because that's the one thing there I like. Well, I like their breakfast foods, but if I have a choice between the big ones, I'll go to Subway. You know, Subway's considered fast food, I think. That's what I would pick. How much work are the live plays? I might be ignorant, but I feel like they're easy to produce. Well, I don't want to call you ignorant, but they're really, really hard. I don't know how much more I can. Live plays are easily the hardest thing that we do. I think the only thing harder than a live play would be a post-production play, kind of like what tabletop does. Because when there's a live play, you're trying to get the different cameras. You're trying to have them on the table. You have to have everything in your mind memorized and know the rules, and you have to be on the whole time, right? You can't goof off. You can't make any mistakes. They will be caught and forever remembered. You look a little irritated at someone else in the live play, people are like, that guy's a jerk. He hates other people. You make a mistake in a live play, people blame you. So, and then the cameras and streaming, trying to get stuff, cameras to streaming and streaming it and making sure there's no errors and having the mics and the cameras lined up. Oh my goodness. Live play is easily the most complicated thing. When we do our live play marathons last year, the 24-hour ones, we set up for 2 hours before we even started those off. And I worked for a long time before that, having a schedule to make sure everything was right and that the people were playing the games and we knew what was going on. They are not easy. They're easily the hardest thing we do. The first teaser for Marvel Legendary Homecoming released in Upper Deck box. Thoughts on them using screenshots from the movie over original art for this set? Oh man, I really dislike that. It doesn't match with anything else. I really hope not. What's going on with Chief Sokotoa? Chief Sokotoa is in a suspended retirement, which is kind of weird. What it means is he's working and he's retired at the same time. So by doing both of those dually, he's able to take more times. If he did just one, like let's say he took retirement, they might give him 3 or 4 weeks off. But by doing them dually, he gets 2 growths off, and getting the growth off is much better. So he's just basically a little bit time shifting. Now the problem for me is it just means we haven't seen each other for a couple of what we call a year here. But I think we'll get together soon when he gets out of this retirement thing. There was just a nasty business with the American-Velichka War. But now that that's over, I think things will get back to normal soon. I stop at a gas station and grab a snack. What's your go-to drink and snack combo? If I'm driving, it's combos. Seriously, that's combos. I like those. Or cashews or some sort of nuts, and then vitamin water or something. I'm just trying to stay awake. That's usually what I would do. Sorry, I missed what you said about the Friday schedule. HowCon, could you repeat? Nothing for Friday with you is listed on the website. On Friday at HowCon, I'm streaming with Extra Life for a while, and then I'm working with board game demos and the gaming floor. I'll just be around everywhere. I'll try to talk to people as much as possible. I don't hide at conventions if I can help it, so just look for me. When will the Jack Bass Memorial Fund Auction take place this year? October. That's usually when it does. What do you do about a gamer who's picky about what to play because they go to a lot of other gaming groups? I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, they get to you and they're like, I don't want to play that. I already played that somewhere else. I might say, well, then maybe you shouldn't show up at our gaming group. I mean, this is what we're going to play tonight. You don't have to play it or not. That's what I would worry about. I don't know. Were you able to use the Dice Master draft packs at GenCon? No, it was kind of a bummer because it just didn't work out. I met a man and his son who were interested in them, but then I didn't run into him the next day when I didn't have them on me the first day. Then the second day, someone came and took pictures of them and spoiled them on the internet somewhere. But I don't know. I'll just have to do it here, I guess. Did Downforce replace Ave Caesar for me? Yes. Who am I closer to, Z or Sam? I think Sam is at the studio right now. I mean, unless he's left it. Well, even if he's left it, he went home. And so Z lives closer to me. So I'm definitely closer to Z. Hey, speaking of which, tomorrow's Z's birthday. Huzzah! Will you be doing a show at Essen? Yes, we will be doing a show on Friday. It will be at 4 o'clock. And how do you get tickets? You will come to our booth in the morning on Friday to grab them. That's what we've done every year, and we feel that works pretty well. Did you ever check out Mario vs. Rabbids? Yeah, I saw a trailer for it, I think today actually, and I was like, huh, that looks interesting, but I don't really have a ton of time to play video games, so there's no reason to add one. And besides, the last time I did a Q&A, you guys told me about Heroes of Might and Magic, and oh my goodness, it's on the iPad, so I played it. I might be done. I'm going to try it again. I had a really great time playing it. I played it a lot on airplane flights and such. I mean, not done, but done for a while, but I might get back in and play it again. I just want it, so that was a lot of fun. What's your favorite Dominion expansion? Prosperity. He usually says Prosperity followed by Seaside. That's correct. And I still say that. Haha, there will be. The teachers want it and players want it science for GenCon next year. Oh, great. I mean, I'm surprised at how many conventions I go to really that don't have those. I think Board Game Geek might have started it, doing it. We do it at Dice Tower too, and it also happens at Geekway to the West, I think, does it. But it's just a really great thing because for me, I don't care. I'll just walk up and say, hey, can I jump in? I'm more of an extroverted person, but for people who aren't extroverted, it's a lot tougher. What are the easiest videos to produce? These, the Q&As. This is live streaming, but this is a whole lot easier. Yeah, these are for sure. If money is no object, what's the one improvement you'd love to make to the Dice Tower? I'd buy a bigger studio with a hardline internet. Any plans to come back to Toronto, Canada this year? No. We will not be back in Toronto, Canada this year. Any idea when we're going to do our next live marathon? Probably 2018. They're a huge amount of work, and they're also very expensive for me to do. So, because I'm providing food for everyone, we fly people in for them, put up people at hotels. It's just a very expensive thing. I apologize that I don't do them more often, but that's why. Let's see. What's my favorite scenario in Robinson Crusoe? I like the King Kong one a lot, I think. What are my favorite videos to make? Top 10 list. I really like doing those. What's my favorite trend in gaming right now? Escape room games. Worst con you've ever been to? Actually, me and Z were talking about this, is that I don't know that I've ever been to a bad board game con, because board game cons are fun. I mean, even the ones that aren't as good as others are great. So for me, the answer might be easy if I just take that out and say MegaCon. MegaCon in Orlando, Florida. I went there one year, and we just ran the board game room there, and it was a real pain. We were asked to come. I was asked to come up and run the board game room, and I said, "Can I bring Jason?" And this was when me and Jason first started doing things, and I'm so glad I asked to bring Jason, because if I hadn't brought Jason, it would have been even worse. Me and Jason went there, and we borrowed a whole bunch of games from Cool Stuff and brought them in and set them up and set up this board game room. And people came in and played games, and it was great, you know. But then we realized, first of all, they wouldn't give us badges to the convention, which is crazy. They had to come in and walk us to the room and walk us back. I mean, we worked for 16 plus hours, well, more than that, from the beginning of it to the end, just running this game room all day and night. And we were like, well, how are we going to go get lunch and supper? We're going to have to, like, one of us had to run the room on the other one. The convention kept saying, well, we'll give you volunteers, and they gave us a volunteer who just sat there and played on their phone. And they also wanted us to count how many people were in the room every 30 minutes and write it down. And it just was, for the amount of work that we did, for the amount of payoff. I mean, people came in and played games, but it was blah. It was very unfun, and I've never gone back since. Second worst con is probably I went to a prototype con one time, and I was amazed at how many people at that prototype con were totally not interested after hours in playing other people's games. Because I would bring games, and I'm like, hey, you want to play some games? And everyone's like, nah. Do you want to play my prototype? No. The prototype playing time was already, but that they weren't even really interested in playing other people's prototypes. They had to be made to, they like, the only way you can get people to play yours is if you play other people's. I don't know. That just wasn't fun for me. What is your Too Many Bones favorite character? Probably the one with bombs. How weird is it to go to cons and feel everyone's eyes on you because you're Tom Vasel? I don't think everyone's eyes are on me. I felt intimidated to interrupt you to come say hi. It's perfectly fine. I always tell people, come say hi. It's not a big deal. How do you suggest to find people who want to play games for people like me who live in the middle of nowhere? It's different for everyone. Use Meetup, Facebook, do what you can. If worse comes to worse, you can play people online. Any chance Secret Santa events making a comeback for the Dice Tower? No, not really. Secret Santa is really fun for me to run. The aftermath is not fun to run. I found that no matter what event you do, it can be really frustrating, the end result of that event. So like Secret Santa is fun, right? Until, January comes and people start emailing. No one sent me anything. And I'm like, oh, great. So we got to find you. So I find people to send them stuff. Other people, no one sent me anything, and they get really upset about it. And then I email the person who was supposed to send them, and they won't respond, which means they just stole something. Or they do respond and say, I sent something, and it's just a mess. I was dealing with it all the way up into May. And this is a very similar thing to the Kickstarter. Like right now, we have sent out, as far as I know, and I'm communicating with Cool Stuff, and there's been some delays and mix-ups because of the hurricane with Cool Stuff, but as far as I know, everything was sent out from Cool Stuff, and I'm getting so many angry emails and comments right now that people haven't got their stuff, and I'm saying, please wait, let's just wait a couple more weeks, hope you get it, because really, shipping takes a while, and this is a little bit of a frustrating time for year for me, because people are really upset at me for not sending stuff, and we did send stuff, and people are like, well, you lied, and I'm not trying to lie, and I want people to get their stuff, but I had hoped, and I still hope, that people donate, for the Dice Tower, and I'm not going to cheat anyone out on anything. We're going to get the stuff out to people that we can, well, except for the promos I didn't get, but we're going to get that stuff out as quickly as we can, and it's not fun for me to get those emails. And like one person emailed me and said, where's my stuff? And I said, if you don't mind waiting, this was in the middle of the hurricane. We're dealing with the hurricane right now. They're like, I know you are, but please tell me where my stuff is. And it was like, I'm trying not to be mean here in the email, but please be quiet. It just feels tough. But I mean, for the majority, it's good. It's good, but that's why I don't run a Secret Santa. Does Marvel Munchkin make Munchkin any better for you because of the theme? No. What was your favorite promo giveaway from the Dice Tower? Indiegogo. Oh, the little dice guy for Arcadia Quest. I really like that promo because I love Arcadia Quest. The studio does have power back. Yes, we don't have internet for streaming it. We do have power, and I've been recording there all Monday and today. So you saw some of our stuff go up today. I have everything recorded for tomorrow. Look Back is going up. Look Back is going up tomorrow, and Crowd Surfing is going up tomorrow. So that's recorded. It's all right here on this card that I'll be uploading as soon as this Q&A is over. But there is other events and things that are. Like I said, we did a top 100. I'm doing 10 games better than Jenga and 10 games better than Battleship this week. So some of that stuff's coming out, and there's a lot of reviews. I think I'm doing 13 reviews this week. So I said that I would be upping the review schedule. I'm going to try to do that over the next couple weeks, but this week I'm kind of pressed for time since I can only record Monday, Tuesday, and tomorrow, and then I'm going to HowCon. Let's see here. Is Hurricane Maria coming anywhere near you? As of this point, no. But do pray for those in Puerto Rico. They're really about to take a hit. And that's really unfortunate, especially since they just took the hit. And other people out in those islands, it looks like the Bahamas are also going to take a pretty solid hit. I'm looking for a new Ticket to Ride map. What would you say is the tightest map? The tightest map is probably Switzerland. Who would eat a wing eating contest, Sam Z or yourself? Probably one of them. I'm not a huge fan of wings. I think wings are okay. What would you do differently when the next hurricane comes? I would do the exact same thing. I'd board up my house, and depending how strong it is, but if, let's say, the exact same hurricane was coming, I would leave. I don't care that it only grazed her homestead. I can't look back and say, oh, that was the wrong decision to leave. No, it was the right decision to do. You know, regardless of whether it hit homestead or not, it might have. And it would have been bad had I been down here. So I'm glad I did not. I'm glad I did what I did, and I would do it again. What's the best system for escape rooms for 2 people? I think they all work well for 2 people, actually. What's your favorite team in first and goal? Oh, I don't even know. I honestly, give me any team and I'll make it work. Aside from obvious plugs, does Cool Stuff ever give any creative input on your video content? No, they don't. They don't ever tell us what to do or not to do. And so I have total freedom in that regard. And that's the way I talk to anyone who comes in as a sponsor, and I demand that instantly. Do you ever script any of your videos? Yeah, I've scripted a few of them in the past. My apology for Vasco da Gama was extremely scripted. Hey Tom, have you heard of Z-Man reprint of History of the World? Ah, you have not watched Board Game Breakfast because I mentioned it there. But yes, I have heard of it. I never played the original game, but I once sat and watched people play it for a couple hours, and I was bored just watching it. It didn't seem like it was my style of game. How do you think being a part of the board gaming hobby has changed the way you connect with people in church? Hopefully it hasn't changed it at all with them. I like to talk to people at church and spend time with them. And me being in board game is no different than if I was a rocket scientist or whatever, or if I was someone who worked in the lawn business. Because at church we're all Christians, and that's what matters. And it doesn't matter what your job is. What's your favorite winter season convention? Dice Tower Cruise. Do you feel like 2017 continued building on the progress the last 5 years have brought to gaming? I feel like 2017 continued building the progress on the last 22 years of gaming. Gaming is not something that just started in 2000, when you said 5 years, 12? Now, gaming started being a big deal in 94. Well, that's 23, but yes, a lot of years. Why do you think a board game designer should not produce their own game? Because no one is good at everything. And if you're a really good game designer, you're not a good publisher. Now, of course, there's exceptions to everything. But it's the same reason why, I think that if you are maybe playing in a sport, you shouldn't also be a coach. A player coach is never going to be as good as a coach. But if you are good at designing, are you also good at graphic design? I think I could make a Vasel's Law 2, which would say, no one is good, no person meets the following requirements. 1, they are great game designer. 2, they are great at logistics. 3, they are great at art. 4, they are great with business sense. 5, their last name is not Lockett. because Ryan Luckett's the only person I know who can do all of them. But most people can't really, and you'll find out a lot of designers who get into the publishing business and start publishing eventually stop designing because they just don't have time for it. And that some of them are really good publishers. And then you find some designers, and this is way more, there's a lot of designers out there who just aren't good publishers. They're just not. Most of them aren't. And the only reason they're publishing is because they really want to get their game to the market. But I've done a whole video on this. As a member of the press, you may feel pressure to play or review a large number of games. Has that caused you to prefer shorter, more streamlined games? I don't think that that's why I prefer shorter, more streamlined games. I think I just prefer them because that's what I'm like into these days. I went to a local store to try to get paperback, which I didn't have in stock. They said they recommended Dominion since they said it's a deck builder most often compared to it. Should I get it? Sure, maybe, but they're not really. I mean, they're both deck builders, but one is about making words and the other is just about deck building. I guess they're similar in that regard, but I don't know. I don't know that it's a lateral move. Are there any games where you'd automatically acquire expansions? Champions of Midgard for sure. Lords of Waterdeep for sure. Kingsburg for sure. Cosmic Encounter for sure. There's a lot of games out there where I just automatically get the expansions. Not all of them though, but I think if you look at my top 100 expansions, then I would have some of them there. If I'm trying to get in HeroScape, where should I start? By buying anything that you can afford, really. There's a lot out there. Should I get Marvel? If you like Marvel. Do you like the Star Wars custom characters? Sure, I have a whole lot of different characters. My wife wants to know where you get your cool hats. I get them all over the place. There's hat stores, hats.com, lots of places. On the subject of Dice Tower Kickstarter, any ideas when you guys are going to schedule the Playing Online game with Tom, Sam, and Z for those backers? Know you got a lot happening. Oh, sure. That is next week. I'll be sending out emails to the people who are getting a shout out in videos because we're going to start getting that done. And we're going to start doing the logistics of online gamers with the people who are playing those games. I appreciate your comments about being tall in your last live Q&A. I can totally relate at 6'9". I don't think you can relate because I think that you have a lot more problems to deal with. 6'4" for me is I'm taller than most people, but people don't look at me like I'm an oddity. At 6'9", they probably would. At 6'9", you're going to have a really hard time shopping for clothes. It's tough for me, but not that hard. Where did the yellow shells come from? IKEA. I saw them and I was like, oh, that'd be great for the kids. They would like bright colors. For the kids. Tiger or Liger? Tiger. Will escape room games be still a thing in 20 years from now? I don't know. Let's see here. What is your favorite non-superhero graphic novel? That's a really good question. I don't know if it's a favorite. See, there's one, I think it's called Mouse, M-A-U-S-E, which is like the story of the Holocaust, but done from the perspective that they drew everyone as mice and things. It's really well done, but it's dark, right? Because it's a dark period of history. But I did like that one. But liking it is kind of like, I'm glad I read it, I guess. Liking it's strong. Non-superhero. Well, I mean, if Bone is not a superhero, then definitely Bone, because Bone is just the greatest graphic novel of all time. Any idea when Sheriff of Nottingham Merry Men will be released? Like very soon, like any week. I just asked. I would have a better date on that because I just talked to Arcane Wonders about it 2 days ago, and for the life of me, I can't remember what they said. But I want to say it was like in a couple weeks. I have not gotten Charterstone yet, so I have no first impressions. What's the best board game Kickstarter to back right now? One that you enjoy. I will be posting a bunch that I find interesting tomorrow in crowd surfing. Jessica's mother has 4 daughters. April, May, June. What's the name of the 4th? Well, you've only told me one of them, April, May, June, which is kind of a weird name. She's going to get made fun of for that all the time. So April, May, June is obviously one kid, and we know that Jessica is another kid, but I don't know what the 3rd and 4th names is. But I'm going to guess Sally and Suzanne Ross Moses. Thoughts on the Target exclusive games? You know what's really annoying me about the Target exclusive games is I can't find like a list of them anywhere, like which ones are Target exclusive. I went to the Targets, and I've gone to Targets all over the place looking at these games, and I see some, then I'm like, is that exclusive? I'm not sure if it's exclusive because I saw it online somewhere, but it might be exclusive anyway. It's very confusing, and I wish it was just a definitive list somewhere. Any idea if and when they're releasing Meeple Circus? I want to say it might be Essen that it's done. Mouse, M-A-U-S, that's right. What's my favorite food? Taco salad. Bone counts. Okay, then bone is definitely better than mouse. Do you have problems with boxes getting damaged from stacking games? No, but that's because I use those IKEA shelves, so you can't stack them too high. Let's see. Any thoughts on the horizon? Well, it's nice. It's a beautiful thing to see the horizon. Let's see. Would you consider coming to Israel to attend a con? Well, if I was invited, I would consider. I would consider going anywhere, really. There's a lot of times it's just not possible, but I would love to travel and go all over the place and see cons. We can't go to as many cons as we like to just because of time, you know, and we actually have to review. For example, I went to Grand Con last week and HowCon this week. That's 2 weeks where there's truncated weeks. So I have to really work hard the first half of the week to get stuff out. And I'm not doing a lot of other stuff for the Dice Tower that I should be during those times when I'm traveling. So, and then the hurricane did not help things at all. But that's okay. We'll catch up. But that's why. Has humidity affected any of your game components? I think it's made stuff curl a few times, but not a really big deal. I haven't played Nemo's War, but isn't that a solo game? So usually those games go towards Z. Have you had a chance to play Virus? No. A few minutes ago, you mentioned you don't have Charterstone yet. How about now? I do not. What do you think about promos packed in other games like Raxon having 2 Dead of Winter characters in a box? What are your thoughts on this? I highly dislike it. I mean, I really, really dislike it. When Masmora came out, all the characters in Masmora came with cards so that you could also use them in Arcadia Quest. I hate that. I mean, that might be cool if you own Masmora and Arcadia Quest, but what if you just own Arcadia Quest? Like, I wanted to keep the characters in Arcadia Quest, but then I would have a half box full of components that I couldn't use for other games. But that's not even that bad. That's them being nice and it kind of backfiring. But when they include a promo for another game, that's boo. Because then it's like, should I buy this game to get those promos? Well, no, I'm not a completionist. For completionists, too bad. You're stuck with that sort of thing. But it's still, I feel like it's a little bit of a, I don't know, I feel it's a little cheesy. I'm just not a big fan of it. Have you played Princess Jing? I have, and a review for that will be coming up in a few weeks. Let's see, I've not played Crystal Clans. I'd really like to play Crystal Clans, but I haven't played it yet. In your opinion, is Coffee Roaster worth its high price tag? I don't like coffee, so no. People keep asking if I'm going to back certain games. I rarely back anything on Kickstarter. I back maybe 5 or 6 things on Kickstarter a year, and maybe one of those is a board game. So my game for this year was Rising Sun. I backed that. I don't think I backed any other board games. I just back stuff usually. Let's see here. Best game universe with multiple games. I don't know how pleased I am with these shared universes. I find them kind of confusing. The games get mixed together. Best game universe with multiple games. The TI3 one, because it's TI3 and Rex. That's all that's in that universe. But let me think about the different universes. They also have Terranoth universe. That's a game universe. AEG did the Love Letter universe. There's Valeria. The Tiny Epic stuff, I think, is all in the same universe. Ryan Lockett's games are supposedly all in the same universe, so maybe I would pick them. My wife slaughtered me by 50 points, the Le Havre this weekend. What's your biggest loss win in a game? I want to beat someone on turn 1 of Risk 2210. Do you still have plans to help Jason with his Guinness World Record attempt for the most board games? Maybe. He has to sort out his collection first. What do you think about publishers including organizer inserts with their game, but increasing the overall cost of the game? I like it. I like those inserts. I don't think that they're necessary, but I like having them. I keep hearing roll to move is a bad thing. What are your general thoughts? It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a great thing either. Most roll and move games are just not that good. I miss Vasel Family Fun. Any chance you're doing more of those? Well, actually, we just recorded the One Night Aliens, and we're debating putting those up. Some silly stuff happened to them. My one daughter is definitely a ham. How do you choose which hat to wear? I go in the closet, and I reach for a hat. I go, do I feel like wearing this hat? Okay, cool. Are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president? We've rescued 12 presidents so far. None in this timeline and none in this country. But we've rescued 12, me and Chief Sokotoa. Well, 11 and a half, but I think it's okay to round up when you're dealing with Shneebians. But, so 12. Let's see. The worst designer is Eric Lang. All his games are pure garbage. Well, I would imagine at this point in time that is a complete subjective opinion, right? I don't think all his games are pure garbage. What's your favorite lineup for Dice Masters? I don't really have a favorite lineup. I'm willing to play pretty much any of the Dice Master games. By the way, I want to give a huge thank you to the person here who made this, Jerry, who made this script for me, because this has really helped me keep up with people on the questions. I really appreciate that. Now I need to put in I need to add a script here that when people ask the same question over and over again, it just starts deleting those. If I don't answer your question the first 5 times, I'm definitely not going to answer it the 6th time. Oh no, John. No, John. John says I want to meet a Shneebian. You really don't. They're nice, but they're only nice for a very short time, and then you'll go home and you're out of credits. It's really, yeah, no. And I know that sounds speciesist, but sometimes things are true in that regard, and so I don't mean to discriminate if you're a Shneebian and you're watching this, but if you're a Shneebian watching this, you're taking credits off my computer right now, so whatever. But you can't, because me and Chief Sokotoa have formulated some very good anti-encrypting things. In fact, I just took some credits from you. Let me look. No, you're fine. Okay. There's a petition for IKEA to make an affordable board game table. You know, I find that funny because have you seen the price at IKEA? I don't think they're. I mean, I think they're. You can buy them, but like for when they sell a bookshelf compared to other places selling a bookshelf, I don't think they're going to be making an affordable game table anytime soon. There's like 8 companies making game tables at this point, and they're all competing with each other. The prices will come down. Do you and the chief have a competition of hats? Well, the chief never wears hats. He's very proud of his thick, lustrous hair, which, by the way, is bright red. What are your thoughts on apps that cause a physical board game to be played less? That's just the way it is, I guess. I don't really have thoughts one way or the other. Like Ascension, I'll play Ascension way more on the iPad than I do in real life. Indines is the best game universe. Indines is a good game universe, but again, these in-game universes always kind of confuse me about all the different things. Do you own any Bitcoin? I think a few people have sent me some Bitcoin, and I don't really know what to do with it, so I technically own it, but I'm not really sure how to convert it. If I knew how to convert it, I'd do so in a second, because Bitcoin does not work in most places I buy things from. I prefer US dollars if I can. Or if I'm in another country, then I would do those. What's your criteria for picking questions? I pick ones that interest me and that I find fun to answer. What is, let's see. Where would you place the Descent 2nd Edition in your top 100 at this point in time? That would be spoilers. I'll get to it. Do you need to know Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy? I did. Yes, that's unfortunate, isn't it? What do you think about Seasons having red as the color for air instead of fire as in other games? Yeah, that drives me nuts. All the time I get confused by that. It's the one thing about Season that drives me nuts. I wish they'd use red for fire and yellow for air or something like that. Well, hey, it's 10:30 and I'm totally caught up on questions. Hey, I was just sorting out my things and I found this newspaper from 2009. Let me make sure here I'm on OBS. So, see, congratulations, 2009 class. And I kept this newspaper, but I have a cool picture in here that's fun. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. So this is, you can read this here. Garrison Commander signs MOU with local church. And so that's a colonel there. He's the colonel of the, that's Colonel Larry Pepper Jackson of the Red Cloud Army Garrison. And basically, my church, which was right across the street from the Army base, we signed a paper that said if there was ever like a major Korean War or something, then they could have a press conference in our church, because they wouldn't want to invite reporters onto the military base. And so that was kind of cool. I just found that, I like this picture. I mean, really, I talked to the colonel for like a minute or two. We came in, and then we took pictures, and we signed the documents, and we switched pens, and I got to keep the pen, and it made me feel like a big shot. Not really a big shot, of course, but that was kind of cool. Although, honestly, the thing that we were signing about was like a very scary thing if it ever happens, but it never did when I was there. Okay. Well, that's it. I think that I don't have anything else. So, folks, I appreciate you guys coming in. I appreciate you answering questions. Thanks so much for watching. I know it's late at night. For some of you, it's super early in the morning. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. Why, hello. Why are you in my game room? I'm sorry, this is no longer your game room. Yeah, I guess it's not. You've been ousted. You young lady, you need to watch how you're wearing that. There you go. Show some decor. How are you even getting around? Don't you have a fish body? How are you getting around in this thing? And what did you bring me here? A hot dog? A piece of bread? Chicken? And a muffin. Oh, muffin's good. And apparently, you drove here in a pirate car. I have no idea how you two get... Oh. Well, that's how you do that. Oh my goodness, stay out of that. Those are games. Stay out of my games.